Hello there. If you doubt that the UK needs to take back full control of its own fishing waters, just look at what's happening around Jersey. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. And a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. While the French try to stick to their guns that there will be no Brexit trade deal unless the UK hands access to its waters over to the EU coastal states, French trawlers have begun to circle Jersey in the Channel Islands, laying waste to their fish stocks. And this is allowed under the Bay of Granville Agreement, a treaty signed between the UK and France, initially set up in 1834 but updated in the year 2000. And when the 2000 Agreement on Fishing Rights in Jersey came into force on the 1st of January 2004, Downing Street put out a statement quoting the Labour MP and Foreign Office Minister with responsibility for maritime policy, Bill Rammell, as saying, "I am pleased to announce the start of the Granville Bay and maritime boundary agreements between the UK and France. The Granville Bay Agreement is good news for the environment and for all those who operate in this rich fishing area. The Granville Bay Agreement is good news for the environment and for all those who operate in this rich fishing area. It reflects new internationally accepted standards on fisheries limits, defines fishing zones and rights, and contains measures for the effective management and conservation of stocks. It also removes potential sources of tension between French and British fishermen." The trouble is that, as just about everything else the UK seems to have signed up to, this agreement is distinctly one-sided. Under the agreement, no vessel can catch fish without a licence, and a joint French-Jersey committee was set up to oversee it. But when Jersey, according to the ITV News, has about 75 registered fishing vessels and France has many hundreds, you can see where licensing issues might arise, especially when France finds its boats suddenly excluded from the rich UK fishing areas. And moving on to this year, it has become apparent that the agreement has not been working equitably. Earlier this year, ITV News reported that a petition calling for the Granville Fishing Agreement to be revoked has reached 1,000 signatures. Ministers will now have to respond to the petition. And it quotes the petition organisers, claiming that the current treaty with France favours the latter. The treaty allows French authorities to licence their own boats to fish in Jersey's territorial waters based on arbitrary historical rights. Jersey fishers need a modern agreement based on zonal attachment that focuses on sustainability. With the report going on to say, earlier in the year, the Jersey Fishermen's Association said that the number of boats using the shared space has become too high, and it is having an impact on stock levels. Now, this was a States of Jersey petition, which has about 1,223 signatures at the moment, with 5,000 needed for a debate in the States Assembly. But it has to be responded to after 1,000 signatures, and ministers replied saying, "The Bay of Granville Agreement establishes the fisheries management regime in the Normanno-Breton Gulf. Ministers have agreed that some aspects need reviewing, and that process is currently ongoing." And it seems that the Jersey authorities are very loath to upset their French neighbours, with the reply to the petition also saying, "We seek to strengthen relations of friendship and neighbourliness. Jersey has long had a policy and political commitment to continuing and developing our close and valued links with France. We are particularly committed to having a constructive and positive relationship on fishing and marine matters." The government of Jersey and the island's fishing community have always been clear that local relations, communication and agreements are key to ensuring the responsible and sustainable management of our shared marine resources. And they've been friendly and neighbourly to the extent that the Jersey fishing community is packing its gear, putting its boats on the market and selling up. The Express reports that Don Thompson, president of the Jersey Fishermen's Association, said half of the 132 fishermen he represents have put their boats up for sale because there is simply not enough fish left for them to catch in their local waters. Under the Bay of Granville Treaty, fishing boats from France and Jersey are allowed shared access to the island's territorial waters, but not on the same scale. And it goes on to say that according to Mr. Thompson, the French can issue a vast number of fishing permits, which leads to an unbearable situation in Jersey. And also that Jersey locals had noticed an increase in the number of French fishing vessels in Jersey waters as December the 31st approached. And Mr. Thompson told the Express that it's a really desperate situation for our fishermen and it's absolutely dire at the moment. There are so many French boats fishing in our waters we just cannot access our own fishing grounds. Our boats can barely go to sea because there's just not enough space left out there. Now some people might ask if Brexit changes this. Can the Fisheries Bill, going through Parliament right now, rescue the Jersey fishing community? And the answer is only if the government of Jersey wants it to. As I understand it, the bill has either been written or amended to also include the option for the new UK rules to include Jersey, but the Jersey government will have to OK that first. And in August this year, the Jersey Evening Post reported that the Jersey Environment Minister John Young said that his preferred method for dealing with this situation was via an ongoing review. And the report also said, Jersey Fishermen's Association President Don Thompson has estimated that up to 55 boats could end up coming to the Bay of Granville, putting further pressure on fish stocks and threatening the livelihoods of fishermen from Jersey, Brittany and Normandy who currently operate in the area. And that prediction seems to have been borne out by the later reports. Neighbourliness, it seems, is a one-way currency. It's like signing over dual access to your wine cellar and always wondering why it's empty. And Don Thompson has also warned that he's hearing on the grapevine that the French are preparing to use militant tactics if they don't keep their access to UK waters. He is in no doubt that French fishermen will react aggressively to any changes. The Express quoted him saying, "We suspect the blockade will carry on for quite some time. That is just French militant disruptive tactics to pressurise their own government into taking action. We know that whatever the outcome of Brexit, there will be blockades that will impact on our fishermen because many of them land directly into France." And for those who doubt the ability of the French to take direct action, remember 1990, when 142 MPs felt they had to table the following motion in the House of Commons in response to the French farmers' actions over UK lamb imports. That this House utterly condemns the action of French farmers and others, which has caused the burning alive of British sheep, attacks on British lorry drivers exporting sheep to France, the cruel misuse of live British sheep thrown against French police shields, and the failure of the French authorities to provide adequate police protection to British meat carriers in France. Declares that it is unacceptable that French farmers should take the law into their own hands, that to date no one has been arrested in connection with these attacks, and that no charges have been preferred by French authorities, and calls upon the government to make the strongest representations to the French government to secure adequate and safe passage of British meat exports to France, the safety of British lorry drivers and compliance with community law. And in 2015, when the Mail reported, A mob of 200 furious French farmers have hijacked a convoy of 7 British lorries and covered the £200,000 worth of fish they were transporting from the Scottish Highland in diesel. With the report going on to say, the farmers are believed to have carried out the attack in protest at their livelihoods being hit by low food prices in France, which they blame on cheap foreign imports. As far as I'm concerned, the UK needs to take back and keep control of all its assets. At every turn, all I've seen over the last few decades is the UK being taken for a ride, all due to a lack of political will. That political will must grow a backbone now with Brexit. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below, and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So, do you think we should take back control of our fishing grounds? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.